What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants. No hate. I don't know if you guys paid attention to this, but I heard something that was pretty interesting. It was just a small comment that was made after Fury knocked out Francis Ngannou. One of the commentators said, Turki Alalshikh told Anthony Joshua, look, man, I need you to beat him. I need you to beat this guy. We can't have this guy beating our top boxers, man. And I found that interesting. And I'm going to tell you why it was interesting to me. Turki Alalshikh has nothing against MMA. They just had, the PFL versus Bellator, with Shields on that card a couple of weeks ago. And they had it in Saudi Arabia. Now, they're about money. And they want to push and promote both sports. Now, that card itself wasn't really promoted too well, to be honest with you. Could have been definitely promoted a lot better. A lot of people didn't even know that it happened. Legal casuals didn't anyway, or people that don't really follow the sport at all, but might have watched it because Shields was on it, that type of thing or something, or because if you're into the sport, then you're into it. But bottom line is that comment showed me several things. It made me just, and I actually respected that comment. Why? It wasn't Turki's idea. When Wilder first spoke about fighting against Ngannou, it wasn't Turki's idea when Fury talked about fighting Ngannou. And it wasn't Turki's idea when AJ fought him. Now, if you remember, as far as it being a spectacle, a successful show, that's what they care about. If you remember, when Wilder lost to Joseph Parker and Eddie Hearn was being interviewed, the interviewer asked Eddie Hearn, he said, how did the fight come about? And he says, well, when Wilder lost, Sheik asked me, who can we replace Wilder with that it's still going to be a massive fight? And Eddie Hearn said right off the bat, he said, Ngannou. Ngannou was in a solid position because he did much better against Fury than people had expected. So there was some interest there. And then the thought of him getting better and being better prepared for the second fight. Not even saying better prepared, just saying better. He gained more experience and knowledge and the anticipation of what he looked like in the second fight. Now, Anthony Joshua goes in there and destroys, Otto Wallin, so it's like, oh, we got to fight. That's how people saw the shit. So, basically, this was Eddie Hearn's idea. Initially, remember, Anthony Joshua said, man, Ngannou's not on my level, man. And he was absolutely 1,000% right. My whole thing was with that. Look, AJ was saying he don't want anything to do with this circus stuff, right? But looking at the situation, it was like, okay, look, Wilder, he lost the fight. These people are paying you $50 million. We want this $50 million, right? So, bottom line, we need a massive fight. Now, in my opinion, if it wouldn't have been Ngannou, they probably would have said, fuck it, why not Joseph Parker? That's what I felt like that's what I thought, anyway, that's what I'd rather saw. In terms of the fight being at least competitive, at least for a while or whatever. But Ngannou was available. And if it wouldn't have been Parker, I believe it would have been Zhang. Now, when you look at that situation, right? A couple of things I thought about. Anthony Joshua understood. This is $50 million. What do you have to lose? And people actually think that Ngannou is going to beat you. Go prove him wrong. Get this $50 million. I mean, that was one of the easiest $50 million I ever saw. Right? Went in there and did his thing. Now, as expected, people are going to talk trash about Ngannou or make excuses for Ngannou because he lost. But bottom line, all before that, we know what everybody was saying. But it goes to show you that Turki respects boxing. Not that he doesn't respect MMA, but I guess my take on it is he feels like that's fine, but man, let these MMA guys do MMA, let boxing do boxing. And also, boxing is a much bigger profit than MMA. So at the same time, him saying that, I said, damn, just think about his words and think about how things happen in the States and everywhere else where it's just, let's just put a fight together just because. And it's like, no, man. Give the people their money's worth. Give them what they want. Don't give people junk fights and then try to talk to people like they're on drugs, like they're supposed to just accept something because you throw it on the card and call it a main event. Well, when I heard him say that, the commentator say that, I said, wow. I said before, it would be cool if people within boxing would actually start to, really understand what's going on here and think like, you know what, man, this is respectable. This is respectable right here. It's funny to me, man, because him saying that and AJ going in there and knocking this guy out like he was supposed to, to me, it was like, job well done. And don't you think that even rises AJ's stock even more? Of course it does, because not only did he win, but he destroyed him. So with that being said, we're looking at a guy in MMA who's one of the top guys, who's one of the more respected guys in MMA. And AJ, we're looking at one of the more respected guys in boxing. His resume speaks for itself, and he's back on his winning streak, and really impressively now. And so this fight, for Sheik to say that to him, and let's think, Tyson Fury refers to Sheik as his good friend, right? And that Sheik wants this fight. And what was funny to me is when you watch the interview with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. And before I say that, I don't know about you guys, but it's just an overall better feeling to see Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren standing there talking like two grown men, okay? Like two grown-ass men, and not like a couple of kids just taking shots and talking trash like neither one knows what they're doing and all this nonsense. It just, it just feels right. That's the way it should be. They're doing business together. Now all of a sudden they can coexist without, the whole back and forth banter. I get so turned off by I just don't like childish stuff. I get turned off by things like that. There's always a way to resolve things. So, me watching the two of them stand there was like, wow, this is what it should have been all the time in the first place. Now, two, when the comment was made, when Eddie said he definitely wants to see, Eddie, he said, Eddie Hearn said, I will put my money on AJ against anybody. AJ is back, and I agree with him. AJ's looking solid, man. AJ's doing what I'm saying with people, if you understand the technique, even look, Ngannou is who he is, and look what happened with Fury. And so, like I said, when you're that skilled, when you're supposed to be that skilled, even if you didn't train the way you were supposed to, a novice, a guy with no fights, man, you're not supposed to struggle like that. And it just shows you the difference. And it shows me a lot of things. I'm not here to get into all of it, but let me say, just looking at that, Eddie Hearn goes, I put my money against anybody. He said, and listen, that guy sitting right there, I guess Fury was somewhere around, and he goes, I want to see him and Anthony Joshua, most definitely. Did you hear Frank Warren stand there and say, nah, man, there's no need for Fury to fight AJ. Come on, Eddie. Usyk beat him twice, and Fury beat AJ twice. Point being, nobody's supporting that bullshit that Fury's talking. You think that Warren don't want that money? Do you know how much money that's involved in that? And the reality is this, right? AJ's hunger and his desire to win, right, along with the fact that he's back now, he might go in there and destroy Fury if they fight. I mean, like, he might really fuck him up bad. Worse than people can imagine. And people, oh, it's a 50-50 fight, or, well, I don't know, it might be. Listen, because when you don't really want something and your heart is not in it, and you get in there and try to psych yourself to think, okay, I can pull this off, AJ's not fucking Ngannou, man. And they both been in there. And so, and also, I don't want to hear people talking, don't come leaving those stupid ass comments about, but this guy beat this guy and this guy, because let me explain something to you. You have people that sparred both guys, and they want to give you their opinion about who they think would win in a fight because they sparred both. And then you guys follow what they say if they're favoring your fighter, the fighter that you like the most. So I don't care about none of that bullshit. I don't care what you did in sparring. I don't care about any of that nonsense. If we're gonna go by that, Fury's own words was, AJ gave me the business. Yeah. So we ain't gotta worry about no sparring partner. Fuck a sparring partner. AJ already sparred with Fury. You understand what I mean? And we talk about an AJ that up and coming. So this version of AJ, it's different. It's different. Now, one of the things that people need to understand about AJ, I was watching him with the distance, with the range, and understanding what he was supposed to do. Had he struggled to land those shots on Ngannou, that would have been something to worry about. Because I'm not sold on that. He can't be knocked out. The size of his neck, you can't put a dent in him. He takes elbows and knees and all this bullshit. I don't care about any of that. And I told y'all from day one, none of that shit matters. And you see what happened. I watched the little things, the feints, how you use your jab, how you use your jab as a camouflage, how you use your jab to even as a guard, to discourage a shot from coming, how you use the parry a shot and counter. I mean, all of these things. And if he struggled with Ngannou, that's why I said AJ should destroy this guy, man. Not just solely on the fact that he's a novice and AJ isn't, but because of who AJ is. He should have destroyed him, and he did it. Now, if people within boxing have the same type of loyalty and understanding, like, man, listen, man, the same way these MMA guys stick together, we need to stick together. Man, we're boxers, we're fighters. We too. MMA guys telling commentators, don't say fighter, don't call him the best fighter. He's the best boxer. He's not a fighter. Like, they get offended with that. Fuck you. And that's why when Turkey made that comment, it's like, yeah, respectively, man, I want to see these guys stay in their own sports. Why do we need a crossover event to make that much money or to generate as much money? No, but you got a guy like Fury, like I said, talking about the fight with Ngannou was bigger than him versus Usyk. You're shooting down your own progress, asshole. Because now you done fought Ngannou. Now you're on to Usyk after you talked all that shit. Then you talked about how Ngannou was Ngannou would knock AJ out. See, he said all of this shit. You don't hear no MMA guys trying to give a boxer the nod. I mean, I'm not telling you to not be honest, but we talking about Fury. So, hey, Fury, honest. But just saying, we're talking about Fury here. And bottom line is, you don't even stand up for boxing. You're all about the money, wherever the money is. I mean, Floyd knew what he was doing when he fought McGregor. Did you hear Floyd walk around and tell about, yo, McGregor is man, he's more dangerous than anybody if I fought it. Listen, he just wanted this money, and he knew what he had to do to get it. And, the difference is this. Like, for example, right? If Pacquiao or Canelo would have fought McGregor, they would have went for the knockout. Floyd was carrying this guy and trying to make a show of it and playing around, and he wasn't trying to really do much. He was just being defensive and just, he's fighting, but it's like he wasn't even worried about what he was doing. But it's like, no, he didn't go in there like, I'm going to chip this guy up. I'm going to embarrass him. I'm going to send him back packing to MMA with his $100 million, but I'm going to dominate him. He didn't think like that. He just went in there. He wasn't worried. Pacquiao would have went in there to knock McGregor out. Canelo, there's a lot of fight. They'd have went in there to knock him out. But Floyd, basically, when he decided, let me stop playing with this motherfucker, and he started to turn up, you see how easy it was. Just he just went in and toyed with him. He just carried him, basically. And my whole thing from even with that, I said, see, when you go in there and you carry these guys, man, and they get gassed up and really think that they accomplished something. And only a loser talk about it's a moral victory that I didn't get knocked out by a guy that I'm 30 fucking pounds heavier than. Yet, everybody talked about how hard you punch with those little 4-ounce gloves on. So my whole thing is like, man, stop playing with these guys, man. If they're going to come in here and they're going to, you know, talk all this shit about how boxing is boring, all you do is punch and do all this, and so many MMA guys have repeated the same shit that Ngannou said to Fury about how, well, I mean, well, he was supposed to win. AJ was supposed to win, but, you know, we know that AJ won't get in the cage. We know these boxers won't get, oh, see, now you guys are sound like a bunch of little kids. Because, first off, if MMA paid you the same way boxing pay their fighters, you wouldn't be worried about going to boxing. And that's why y'all do it. Boxers don't have a fucking reason to go into MMA unless they're doing it the way Clarissa's doing it, becoming an actual certified, bona fide MMA fighter. Not, oh, I'm just coming in here to show you that boxing is superior. No, I'm coming in here, it's a different sport. Boxing is a part of the stand-up is there. Yeah, I got the skills, to, you know, but it's a whole different sport. She comes in there understanding, okay, I got to learn more, and I am learning. So even with the defeat, she's 2-1. She's in there. She's an MMA fighter. Bottom line. So if you're gonna do it like that, fine. These guys come into boxing one and done. They just want that big check. Now Ngannou says he's gonna stick around, and you know, but you know, I don't see it being even if he does, it's gonna be short lived. The man's 38 years old now. I mean, how long is he gonna stick around and box? And, you know, like I said before, you don't see MMA guys getting brain damage. You don't see them walking around with Parkinson's. So, you know, you can talk all the shit that you want about elbows and knees and all or whatever the fuck, man. Yeah, whatever, man. But at the end of the day, I just thought that what Turkey said was, I thought it was cool that he said that. I need you to beat this guy. We can't have this guy come over here beating our top fighters. You understand? He wants to establish what he's doing and keep this thing going. And that also lets me know he's thinking long term. And he wants to put the best cards on. And my thing is, you know, when you feel like you have to go outside of your sport to get attention, like this MMA guy, I forget his name, pink hair, he keeps going back and forth with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis and all these guys. For what? And you keep talking about coming to the cage. Nobody's talking about going into the cage. You guys are trying to clout chase to get your little profiles up because you're going back and forth with guys knowing what reason would Tank, Ryan, or any boxer have to go into a cage for that chump change? Let's just be honest. What reason would they have to go into it? Now, if they want to do like Shields and become actual MMA fighters, then that's something different. But at the same time, it's like Shields is smart. Her team is smart. They're not trying to give her the very best women right there, right? No, they're just, hey, like I said, there's no easy fight for her coming in there. She's coming into this thing late. You know, there's no easy fight. So, but it's like, you're not going to go in there and put up with the top, like, if people say such stupid shit, if Shields is all that, won't they give, I forget the lady's name, but she's like the one of the, at least one of the best in PFL. I forget her name, with the blonde hair, well built, I forget her name, but like why would Shields' team put her in there with that woman right now? Okay, because that would be like her talking shit. She come into boxing and then Shields beat the fuck out of her, and then what? Oh, but she's not a boxer. Okay, but that's the difference. Shields is not, like I said, Shields is staying with MMA as well. So why would you put it? Other than you want to see her get beat, that's all. It would be stupid. Just like Shields is the one out of her mouth said, why would I go in there and fight? I'm not ready for Amanda Nunes right now. So at the time when coming in and Amanda was talking that shit about come and fight me, like, Amanda, stop that shit. Because you're not going to go into boxing. And it's just, you know, your ego can cause you to say and do stupid things. To where you'll go in the ring and get your ass cooked just to come with this bullshit about, well, fight me in the cage too. Well, let's make a deal. I'll fight you in boxing and you fight me in the cage. That's all just for the sake of being able to say, okay, you beat me in boxing, as you should. I beat you in MMA, as you should. And that's pretty much all it is. And it's like, that little bullshit money they're going to pay us in the cage, man, fuck you in that chump change. That's that in bottom line. You can't, you know that when it really comes down to it, the younger you are, the dumber you are. And you start to get older and you start looking at, like, what is my exit strategy going to be? Think about a fighter that's not in a good position, where who can I fight to get the kind of money I want? You understand what I mean? And you can't even get that there. So when you're like a top fighter in MMA and you get paid like 2.5 or 1.5 million and you're like the top guy, your shit is not going to go up with 10 million, 15, 20 million, 30. No, it doesn't do that. And this is what I'm saying. And everybody's not going to, like, when you have to be a draw. And let me say this. When you say MMA, I'm talking MMA. Okay, we're not talking about just UFC, because that's when you say MMA, that's what people usually think about. My whole thing with all of this crossover stuff is this. If you respectfully want to go dip into each sport, okay, cool. Like, we hearing this stuff about Savannah Marshall and all these people supposed to be going back and forth. But my whole thing is like, okay, even if that was to happen, let's be real. You guys think just because Shields is doing it that Savannah should do it as well. Okay, cool. That's what she wants to do, fine. She might go on MMA and really suck. And if you look at Savannah, I'll tell you what Savannah better be careful of. If you watch Savannah fight in boxing, she's flat-footed. She comes forward. All her movements is just upper body moving side to side, leaning, throwing an uppercut and all. So Savannah's not busy with her legs. Shields know how to get on her. She can move and be active, and, you know, she uses her legs, even though she likes to get there and trade at times. But, you know, Shields knows how to move. She knows how to sprawl and do all of that shit. Now, I'm not saying Savannah can't learn it, but Savannah's long and rangy. Long, rangy people are not good wrestlers, man. They're not good at any of that shit. If you start off, like, if that's what you did in high school, college and stuff, it could be something different. But, like, to come into this shit now, aside from her stand-up, what style would she practice, right? What would she study? These long, rangy fighters like that, they're not really good at that type of shit, man. Now, depends on her training and how she absorbed the information. But my whole thing of what I'm saying is, people, who the fuck ever thought about Savannah going into MMA until she said something? And then they start talking about Katie Taylor and all these other people. And I'm saying, okay, fine. But, you know, let's understand something. And the women don't make what the men make in boxing as well, or MMA. So let's be clear on that. So I don't know what's going on with MMA right now. I mean, in terms of, like, who the big draws are and how they pay their fighters is not going to add up to, like, what top boxers make. So even in general, they just don't make that. They don't make that kind of money. Most of these MMA fighters don't have super long careers, man. And so a lot of them, by the time they get to the UFC, it's like your career didn't start in the UFC. If you was already in Bellator, wherever you started, your career started there. Your notoriety, your popularity increases going to the UFC or Bellator or PFL, but you understand, your career don't start just because you go to the UFC. But then all of a sudden, these guys find their way trying to come into the boxing ring and start talking shit, or going into professional wrestling and all this kind of shit. So I feel like what Sheik said, man, it's just like, if more people really gave a shit about legacy, really cared about putting on solid cards, because Sheik knows, he's a businessman, and he knows if these top guys in here struggling with novice damn fighters and getting in here all this crossover shit, and people get used to this circus thing, you know, they're gonna start looking at my shows like, hey, Sheik, you need to shake things up. Let's get some professional wrestlers on your show. Let's get some storyline going. Sheik just want to put boxing matches on when it's boxing. They want to do the MMA when it's MMA, and I agree with that. I 100% agree with it. But all of this talk about coming into MMA, oh, y'all scared to come to MMA, and they always talking this salty shit. But yet boxers still don't want to have camaraderie. They still don't want to have unity, and they still sit up here and don't want to get in the ring with the best fighters. They want to dictate everything, and, you know, down to the last crumb. Before you know it, you look back and think, damn, I'm towards the end of my career already. And what have you done? What have you done? So when you sit here and try to put other fighters down, but you won't even get in the ring with them. And this is why we need for the Saudis to keep putting these shows on. You know, if you look at what's been going on. I mean, look, think about this. Let's look at this. Tank Davis was offered money. He made an offer to come to Saudi. And the fight they wanted to make was him and Haney. That's the fight they want to make. Okay, that's the best. That's the big fight. They're going to make more money in Saudi than they would here. Him responding with, they better send me 2 Lamborghinis or whatever the hell it was outside of my house, whatever type of Ferraris or whatever, just to get me there. Like, okay, arrogant, swelled head, Mr. Abdul Wahid, right? Yeah. So Tank says all of that. Now, remember that video? We already talked about going 140, bro. Remember that shit? He went through all of that. He turned the fucking, before the Saudis made the offer, he turned Bill down cold. They talking $20 to $40 million, and he turned that shit down. Leonard Ellerby goes, nobody can make Tank an offer. Tank makes the offers. He's the A side. Okay, cool. All this bullshit. They turn down the Haney's. They turn down the Haney's again through the Saudis. Okay? Then all of a sudden he goes, him and what's his name, Conor Ben, they're both sides are all on the same page. Like, this is a done deal. The fight's gonna happen. That's what everybody thought, because that's what was said. Now all of a sudden that fight ain't happening, and now all of a sudden they had their little back and forth with words. Then now I'm hearing Tank is fighting Frank Martin. I mean, it's like, this is what I mean. And they all talk real tough on social media. The same nonsense over and over. So the Saudis are trying to keep these cards going every 3 months, and I like that. I really like that. Now, aside from the Saudis, now what Matchroom has going in the PBC and whatever, all these other platforms, what they have going, like this nonsense that's coming to Netflix with Tyson and this dude Jake Paul, this type of nonsense. I mean, boxing needs its own identity, as this is boxing. It's like you don't get Olympic style wrestling mixed up with professional wrestling. It has its own identity. Both are separate, you know. So you can have an Olympic background and go into professional wrestling, but once you go into that, you already know what it is. You're in the entertainment business. You know, we get it. You don't get, you know, Muay Thai mixed up with kickboxing. They have their own identity. But what they all have and should have is pro fighters, professional fighters, not people throwing on some damn gear and talking shit on social media and all of a sudden they have an event. I mean, that lane is for those who care, those casuals who are into that type of stuff. So yeah, I think that was cool, man, and I wish more people had that type of mentality in life. Just, man, let's stand on business, let's make things work, let's do things the right way. And, you know, so that's why I said, you know, nothing personal against Ngannou, but he needed his ass whooped. What happened to him, he needed that shit. He needed that shit. Now you ask yourself this question. For Turkey to tell Anthony Joshua he needed him to beat this guy, really fuck him up, knock him out. We can't have him beating our top guys. Okay, and that's gonna have doubt. People gonna look at they're already looking at boxers trying to turn their lip up like, man, these boxers are overrated. These motherfuckers ain't even that good. And boxing and all of that. Yeah, and anybody think they can put a pair of gloves on, especially MMA guys. We fighting 4-ounce gloves. Yeah, I know, and you motherfuckers still don't know how to throw punches properly either. All this shit you guys talking about. You know, so I guess Anthony Joshua punch harder than you motherfuckers kick. Because according to y'all, he take kicks, knees, and elbows, and you can't put a dent in them, right? So, that being said, though, for him to say that to Anthony Joshua, you see, just think about this point. Remember what I said about when somebody even said about Deontay Wilder and Ngannou next, and I'm saying it hurts Wilder more than anything. It doesn't help him. He beats Ngannou, so what? You understand what I'm saying? Like if put it like this, if Deontay would have just knocked out Ngannou, and then people going AJ versus Ngannou, all the same people were saying that would be going for what? Right? He just got knocked out. You see the like for what? Listen, you never heard me say Ngannou was exposed. No, he wasn't exposed. I never saw him I wasn't sold into the bullshit. He is who he is. AJ just showed him, nah, you do what you do in MMA with the striking and with the wide guard and all of that. What you're trying to learn and coming here now, what y'all thought he was going to pull a Lomachenko? Well, Lomachenko is a real fighter. He's a real boxer. He's not an MMA guy that just came from somewhere else into boxing and beat Gary Russell. No, he was an actual. He's an actual boxer, and that's what I'm saying. When you do business, I want y'all to think about this. If you're in Deontay Wilder's shoes, what do you gain by beating Ngannou? Just think about it. Like, what would you gain if you won the fight? What if you won the fight, but the fight went the distance? What you gonna say? Well, he went the distance with Fury too. Yeah, but AJ stopped him though. Isn't that what everybody brag about with Wilder, that he got a higher knockout percentage than everybody else? So now you're gonna flip it and all of a sudden and act like y'all don't say that about him, right? So you can't take AJ's credit away. You see, and that's what I'm saying. When people they don't want to like he did what Fury failed to do twice, destroy two opponents that Fury was expected to destroy, and people still not. The understanding is, okay, he did what y'all said he couldn't do. So y'all sound stupid when you keep trying to make excuses and come up with the but this and but that. So what I'm saying, if I'm in Wilder's shoes, me looking at it from the standpoint, I mean, we're two different people, obviously, all of them, because, I wouldn't say the things Wilder say, and, he feel the way he does. So let me say it like this. What does he gain? Does he not have the common sense, and his fans don't have the common sense to know? Wilder gains nothing by fighting Ngannou. And if he went in there and struggled, it just shows you, like, yeah, you've been in this sport all this time and you struggle with this guy. And then people going to keep trying to use Fury, but he went to distance with Fury and he dropped Fury. So you can't really say that. No, you can say that. Why? Because it goes to show you, like when people try to say, oh, Fury showed AJ the blueprint. How the fuck he show him the blueprint when he got dropped and most people thought that he lost the fucking fight? What the fuck what did he do even remotely close to the way what AJ did? What, you didn't see Fury with that attack? You didn't see Fury with that ferociousness, Fury being first and coming out throwing big bombs? You didn't see him doing that shit, sitting down in his punches and making sure he connected. You didn't see that. You guys said AJ was going to have to hit and hold, and try to edge out a points decision. Wilder, with the style he has, for one, Wilder doesn't set you up, set traps, and know how to bait you. Wilder just try to catch you slipping, time you, and just throw the jab right hand. It's possible he can catch Ngannou. It's possible. But it's also possible that Ngannou might wind up knocking Wilder out. And let me explain why. Stylistically, okay, let's just say, anybody can land a big shot, okay, yeah, whatever. But stylistically, in terms of who's the better fighter, this is where with Wilder, right? Wilder's style has been, I will lose rounds and be behind on the scorecards because I know when I land, I'm going to get you out of there. That's been his mindset. What happens if he can't land that shot the way he needs to? And Wilder doesn't handle pressure well. When you watch, Wilder's not a brawler. That's why when people say that, I'm like, well, no, brawlers brawl. Wilder's no brawler. When your hands start moving, his hands stop moving. He goes straight back on the straight line. Ngannou still doesn't have enough, like, he's green. He doesn't know how to cut off a ring. Ngannou, if you watch, he doesn't put pressure on you. He tries to box. Okay? So, for him to stand around and try to outbox, Wilder doesn't have the fundamentals, the basic fundamentals. So if Wilder is using his jab and moving and just jabbing and throwing the right hand, he's predictable. And, what I'm saying is, if Wilder was to win, I see him struggling. If Wilder would be able to come in there and score a first or second round knockout, that is what he would need to do. Where at least it's like, okay, you didn't go in there and struggle like Fury did. You went in there and you knocked him out. But Wilder, and this is the thing what I'm saying, Wilder has been known to lose rounds to guys that wasn't even good boxers. So what I'm saying, when Wilder, if he was to go in there and fight him, what it would look like is this: your confidence is way down. You saw what AJ did to Ngannou, and you guys are probably figuring, well, damn, I can't fight anybody any more less experienced than Ngannou, who's out there, right? Nobody's trying to pay Ngannou no fucking $20 million again to go in there and fight. Well, Ngannou's going to have to rebuild. And this is what I'm saying, work his way back up. But and there's plenty of people out there that, well, look, let me tell you something. You talk about Ngannou's power. Everybody's talking about once he connects, it's this, is the. You guys are talking about what he did in the MMA cage. That little temple shot that he caught Fury with, okay, yeah, he did what he did. But, so you guys think Ngannou would beat Efe Ajagba? You think Ngannou would beat Frank Sanchez? You think that Ngannou would beat Philip Urquhart? Like, do you think that he'd beat these guys? So my whole thing is, Wilder has nothing to gain. He really has nothing to gain. You just be beating the guy you just got beat. He just got knocked out brutally, and you'd be fighting a guy that would only be his third fight. But before, this fight, his third fight, which if it was to happen, he was supposed to go in there and expected to beat Anthony Joshua. And that he really beat Tyson Fury. So he's in a position of, hey man, he just beat the best heavyweight and all this nonsense. That's what was in his mind as well. So this is what I mean, like, why would Turki, I don't think Turki would even be interested in that fight. I don't see a reason, like, when Wilder wanted to have that fight first, and if it would have happened before the Fury fight, that was the time to do it. But it didn't happen. I feel like that ship has sailed. And Wilder, should focus on, like, whatever their game plan is for his return is going to be what it's going to be. But I feel like, honestly, unless he really thinks that low of himself, he would be insulting himself. Why? Because for all of what you thought he was going to do to AJ, and for how they talked about all this dominance and everything that they claimed, which all of it came from MMA and one fight with Fury, what is Wilder going to come in there and do that's going to be so different or so spectacular? What does it do, though? You still lost to Parker, so it doesn't matter if you beat Ngannou. You think that Ngannou would beat Joseph Parker or Zhang? You understand what I'm saying? So this is the thing I'm saying. They're making it seem like, even though he just got destroyed, like he's still a top prospect in boxing. No, he was hyped up. He's not he's a fucking novice. Say it like it is. You know what I'm saying? So for Wilder, it's like, why would you even want to see Wilder fight Ngannou? And to be honest with you, with Wilder's build and his style, is what I'm saying. Man, I really don't I can't honestly sit here and tell you that I think Wilder, like, it's a guaranteed win. This is what I'm saying. Because with Wilder, he's wild. And he's not skillful. And pretty much the way he fought Parker, right? And that didn't work for him. Well, what style are you going to fight Ngannou with? Are you going to try to stand in front of him and bang with him? Are you going to try to... because Wilder is not a boxer. Wilder would have to be sharp and on point. And he has to have better head movement, because that's just walking straight back with his arms out shit that he does. And Ngannou doesn't know how to cut a ring off, like I said. He's not a pressure fighter. This is what could help Wilder stay in there, is because Ngannou still makes a lot of mistakes. But, he don't have the intelligence that Anthony Joshua has. You understand what I'm saying? And for Wilder to win, he's gonna have to be patient, but not let Ngannou be overly aggressive. And when you have small legs like that, body shots will wear you down quicker. And this is the thing what people understand. It's not like Wilder would be looking in the mirror fighting Ngannou, but tactically, you know, with Wilder, if I mean, this would have to be one of those things where he really catch Ngannou slipping. You know, I don't know, man. And what weight does Wilder come in there at against Ngannou? Do you understand what I mean? That 213 shit was too small for Parker. It's going to be way too small for Ngannou. And I don't think he knocks anybody out at fucking 213. I'm not sold on Wilder's power. Wilder can punch with the right hand, yes. But the way people make it sound like he just, if he touch you, it's no. I think with Wilder, and you understand what I'm saying? When Wilder, you look, he said 238 was too big. He said 213 was too small. So when you look at his weight and think, okay, Ngannou's 273, what weight is Wilder going to come in there at, and it's going to be effective? Because basically what he has to do is land a shot. So if 238 was too heavy and 213 was too small, well then you got to figure he should be, what, 220 something? You know, but how is he going to fight Ngannou? Because Wilder's just too skinny. He's too frail to try to stand in front of Ngannou. This is the point of what I'm saying. He doesn't know how to fight on the back foot. That shit that he did with Parker wasn't fighting on the back foot. He was just running all night long. He did no damage. So what I'm saying is, with him not being a cerebral guy, a really intelligent, crafty fighter, it's two guys that want to knock each other out. But it's just one of these things where, like I'm saying, I'm not saying that, oh, he can't beat Ngannou. I'm saying it's not a clear win to me. I don't feel like, right now, the feeling I have is like, it's very possible Ngannou would knock him the fuck out. It's possible he could knock Ngannou out. But in all honesty, and the reason, like with Wilder, is because of his lack of technique to set the punches up. And Ngannou would probably be able to read him easier. Why? With Wilder, it's a matter of he can get the shot off quick enough. But him being so damn light, man, like, and you know, I just think certain fights is a mismatch. Certain fights you just don't like, and you got to look at the confidence too. It's easy to talk that shit, and you got to understand this. Ngannou is a lot stronger than Fury. You saw when these motherfuckers fought. Fury tried to body him like he did Wilder, and Ngannou slung his fucking ass like he was fucking 100 pounds. So it's like, yeah, he can't walk Ngannou down. You understand what I'm saying? He can't try to muscle him. Wilder's not even that type of fighter. Wilder lays back, he's patient, and that's how he's been fighting. I think that, and the point is, I feel like Ngannou would have an easier time adjusting to Wilder, or being like, because Wilder doesn't put up any fight mentally. He doesn't have the mental game. Everything with him is jab right from the very beginning. You watch Wilder fights. Wilder's throwing the jab right. He's throwing his bread and butter in the very first round. Like no setup to it, no lean up to it. He don't work off feints, jab. He's become extremely repetitive. I don't think that that's a fight that he should even take. And I don't think that Turki wants that fight, because I feel like he probably feel the same way. Like, man, I don't feel confident that Wilder will beat this guy. I would rather Wilder rebuild his name, get some interest back in, another fight or two, and then we get him back on the card. At least if he lose to a boxer with respect on his name, then we can say that hey, okay, well, he lost to another good boxer, another good fighter. But if he goes in there and then loses to Ngannou, then what's the purpose? Who the fuck do we bring him back against if he can't beat him? See, Fury was supposed to do what AJ did, and Ngannou was supposed to be long gone. Okay, it was fun while it lasted. Okay, cool. Now let's get back to real business, and this is my thing. So that goes to show you that Sheik wanted AJ to win. He wanted boxing. He respects boxing, and he want boxing. That's the major platform he want to push is boxing, and he want to do it on his platform. And so you don't want to see these guys, your top guys, going in and lose. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, y'all. So, when you look at that shit, you got to think like this. What I was thinking too is Canelo is no longer with the PBC, and I'm thinking, does Canelo want to hop on that plane and go to Saudi and fight someone? Because if anybody's going to put the money up to make this fight happen, and the fight could happen, it's just up to Canelo. But with Benavidez, the type of money that they would offer to get that fight, you understand what I'm saying? It's one of these things. And I'm looking at the possibility of several fighters, to get them there. And it's just a good feeling for boxing to know that there's somebody involved that care about boxing. They want boxing to succeed. And come on, y'all, look at the price of the pay-per-views compared to all these other damn events that they have going on. And so when you're paying for a good card and it's not expensive, it's like, damn, I mean, come on. This is a great time right now in boxing with what the Saudis are doing. And you look all around, everywhere else is nothing but talk. And that's the thing that Wilder better be careful of, is because outside of what the Saudis are doing, he's training, but we still haven't heard a name for an opponent. We still don't know, like, who are you fighting? Who do you like? What's going on? How long? What's the timetable looking like before you are ready to fight another top level guy? And you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know what people are thinking. They're thinking if he fights Ngannou and he knocks Ngannou out, they're going to compare him and AJ and all. Okay, cool. But see, the whole point, what people are overlooking is AJ just showed everybody Ngannou doesn't belong in his boxing with us. That's what people are not understanding. So that's what I'm saying. Wilder, what does Wilder gain? If Fury would have did to Ngannou what AJ did, I'd have been saying the same thing. What the fuck does AJ gain from fighting the guy that just got knocked out in 2 rounds? That's a novice. That's exactly my point. Like, what does Wilder gain from it? What does any of them at this point? Joseph Parker, what do they gain from fighting this guy and beating him? They should beat him. Now, stylistically, this is what I'm saying though. Don't assume and that's what I'm saying. Look, AJ fought smart. That's why I said I can't do it because of copyrights. I could sit here and show the fight and break down and show you what AJ was doing, the traps he was set, everything. And he read him. Okay, I got him. This is not going to be hard. And he got him out of there. AJ already confidently said last year, man, Ngannou's not on my level, man. You understand what I mean? But Wilder wanted to fight him first. And I think that Wilder had the same idea with, because he's a big star in MMA. And if I fight him and beat him, this would be a big crossover and it'll get more eyes on me. And everybody's trying to make their money and all. But to be honest with you, I just don't see a reason for this fight. And it's only going to happen if they fight in Saudi Arabia. That's the only way it's going to happen. Imagine if they put a card on in the States, right? And it's Francis Ngannou versus Deontay Wilder. After what just happened to Ngannou, do people not understand what's happening right now? This would not be a good look. And honestly, the way Wilder looked against Joseph Parker, Wilder has to find what weight he's comfortable at, where he can do whatever he needs to do against whatever opponent. Because all this experimenting and coming in too light, too heavy, and not sure of yourself, not sure if you even want to fight, continue boxing. You got to understand, when AJ was going through his thing, AJ never once said, I don't know if I want to continue to fight. He's like, not at all. They talk about retirement. Nah, he said, not at all. I love doing this. I'm not going anywhere. No time soon. And Wilder's talking about, I'm a happy fighter now, and I don't know if I still got my killer instinct and all of that. So what I'm saying, and you got to understand this too, for all the years that Wilder was fighting a certain level of competition, a certain type of competition, see, Ngannou, you can't even really compare his story with Wilder's. Why? Because even though Wilder was fighting guys that wasn't talented, they were still boxers. Okay? Where they're similar is that Wilder never really mastered his craft. He never perfected his style. He was just knocking certain opponents out. He had the right opponents in front of him. When he steps up his game, the things that he refused to learn, the things that he neglected to learn, they came back to haunt him. Now, the thing with Ngannou is, you see, he earned a reputation through a completely different sport. And people psyched up thinking that MMA guys is better fighters than boxers. So, he came in there and skipped the line and was put in a position that he didn't earn. Now, if Wilder, and see, here's the thing, and this is what people need to understand. When you hear me say, you gain experience, not just when you win, but also when you lose. But when you hear Wilder saying things like, what applies to other fighters don't apply to me because I got a blessing and a curse in the right hand. You see what I'm telling you? This could be the one fight where Ngannou was like, oh, this guy's easy. And, with him being so damn skinny, man, people don't understand, like, that style that Wilder has can easily backfire on him, man. And let's be real. He was getting backed up by Parker. You've never seen Wilder show strength to back a fighter up. He's always the one getting backed up. And when you have skinny legs like that, you got to understand too. And for Ngannou to have something to prove and be fired up and feel like, man, I can't afford another loss. I have to win. Think about it. What's Wilder going to do differently? That's the whole thing. It's all on Wilder. Wilder's not going to do anything different. He's either going to try to lay back and wait a little bit more, or he might try to be first. But either way, his lack of boxing skill, that technical savvy that he doesn't have, and basically not knowing what to do, how to switch up stuff. I mean, it will come down to this. It could come down to whoever lands first, but I honestly don't think that the way Wilder throws his punches and how he fights, and he's not effective. He's not really sharp, man, with how he throws his shots. And that's why I said in the last video, man, like, if you watch, AJ was using that jab different ways. He was baiting him. He was seeing what he was going to fall for, and he was like, okay, he's falling for all of my feints on top of that. And AJ, with the quick hands, man, and he got the shots there, and he got the range. Now compare when he fought against Hellenius. All Hellenius is doing is backing up. And Hellenius is so tall that with those long arms and him being 6'9", he would lean back. He was just getting out of the way of the shot. Now look at how the fact that Ngannou was right there in front of him. He didn't have to look for him. But the point is, he had no problem closing that distance, because even times when Hellenius was right in front of him, the height difference, it was different with the height. When he caught him with that right hand, and I told you guys, when he knocked him out, I said, now AJ knocked him out with one fucking punch. Let's not forget, he knocked Hellenius out with that same punch. And it was one shot, not he knocked him down two times. He knocked him first, one shot. So the point, what I'm saying is, even though it was one punch, and you look, I said AJ should watch this fight, and he says he does film study of fighters and himself as well. Watch what he did, what he was doing wrong the whole time. This is my point. Why couldn't I cut the ring off? What was I doing wrong? This is what I'm saying. And now you got a novice in front of you. He's not supposed to be in those 6-7 rounds with this guy. I told you he needed to get rid of this motherfucker quick and embarrass him and just destroy him, and that's what he did. And Sheik is proud of that shit. And if Wilder wants to get back on that card, Sheik wants to put him back on that card, I would keep Wilder away from Ngannou. I just don't think Wilder's frame, man. Wilder's frame is not, y'all keep talking about the right hand. He always talks about the right hand. at some point you just get to the point where, like I said, people figure you out. And for Joseph Parker, when I watched what he was doing, Joseph Parker did the same thing all night long. It was repetitive. Stick to it. It's not broke, don't fix it. Just, hey. And he didn't have to. And that's my point. Wilder showed no ability to switch up and do anything different. When he fought Fury, he just caught Fury. That's all. He didn't show an ability to switch up and do anything different. You know, and one of the things I love, now you see when Fury was fighting against Ngannou, Fury went southpaw, and then Ngannou went southpaw. Now, the reason that people switch, okay, usually they can't get to you the way they want to, so they switch. Okay, let me see now, right? And the other reason is when they're just trying to trick you. They're just trying to bait you. They're setting you up. Okay? But, yeah, for that reason, and they don't like what they see in front of them. Like, nah, okay. Nah, let me switch up. When he went southpaw, Ngannou went southpaw. But if you notice, neither one of them picked the pace up when they went southpaw. Ngannou switched up southpaw against AJ. And it was like, for what? What are you switching southpaw for? Did he think that was going to throw AJ off? Yep. Because you know what everybody was saying? AJ, he has a problem with southpaws. No, he doesn't. He had a problem with Usyk because he had a problem with himself. His confidence wasn't there. He was fighting himself, and he had a problem with Usyk. He didn't have a problem with just southpaws in general. And so when he went southpaw, it made it even worse for him. Because the punch that AJ wanted to land for sure was that right hand. And I said, this guy's not crafty enough. He doesn't have the boxing IQ to know what to do when he's if he's in a tough fight. AJ is a big dude. And, like, to be honest with you, AJ was, what, 252, 253? He was 273. I didn't see no really big size difference between the two of them, man. Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, AJ's a big guy. People don't understand this. Wilder is a skinny motherfucker, man. His legs are scrawny, so even when he tries to build up his upper body, it doesn't make him punch harder. It doesn't make him faster. It doesn't make him more agile. It doesn't make him sharper, smarter. Nothing. He just gets bigger, but he doesn't even know how to use his weight properly. And the fact of the matter is, when you don't have a punch selection with various, shots that you set up and use, and different tools that where you set your shots up, you're just one-dimensional. I mean, Wilder, think about it. Between Fury, AJ, and Wilder would be the easiest person for Ngannou to figure out. And that's why I said, like, with Fury being long and lanky, Fury was just using, stand out, coming in, throwing his shots, he'd hold, and AJ didn't do any of that shit. Like, AJ was like, nah, I'm knocking this motherfucker out, and that's what he came to do. And, like, this is something when I look at Wilder, man, like I told you, man, if y'all didn't, go back and watch Wilder versus Chris Arreola. Y'all will see what I mean. And Wilder doesn't know how to use the jab and set the jab up. He just throws the jab. That's it. He just throws it. He'll throw it to the body. He'll throw it up to the head. He'll throw it to the butt. But he doesn't. Nothing comes behind it. And when it does throw something behind it, it's always just the right hand. It's always just the right hand. And I think that for Ngannou, he starts coming forward. Like, and look, he comes forward against Wilder, right? Wilder's not going to be able to keep him off. So if Wilder goes into like savage mode and start throwing, Wilder's long and lanky. His punches are not coming through the middle. They're coming from here. And that was causing Fury to miss too. If you watch Fury when he threw that right hand, when he would throw it, he was looping it. And he was looping it and because he's so damn tall and lanky. And Ngannou was able to duck into it and like move out the way of it. So when it was landing, it was coming up here. And I think for Wilder now, and too, you gotta understand, like when you watch Wilder, he was exhausted against Fury. And it was just because Fury kept pushing him back, leaning his weight on him, and the back and forth. He couldn't keep Fury off of him. When Fury decided, move and stay out on the outside, he came and he kept coming in the same way. Now, Ngannou doesn't have that craftiness as a fighter. And let me tell you something. Let me make this clear. I would want Wilder to win the fucking fight. I don't want these MMA guys coming in here, like I'm saying, with this arrogant shit. Even if Ngannou decides to stick around, fuck that. I would want Wilder to win. He's a weirdo and all that goofy shit and all. I would want him to win. But if he wins, and then that would be okay. Now your next fight is gonna be an actual step up. It's going right. I don't know, Parker, Zhang, rematch with Parker, Zhang, whatever, because what I'm saying is, Wilder's not going to just jump right. This is what people are thinking. They're thinking Wilder's going to have a tune-up, then he's going to be right back in the title shot. That's not how it's going to go. You got to look at the timetable, and you got to look at how active Wilder wants to be, and all these other fighters as well. Wilder's not going to just skip the line, and people are hoping he can. Now, if Wilder is actually... if he can bounce back to where he's confident and he's in there and he's, you know, you don't know what's going to happen until the fight happens. But if Wilder's going to come in there and he's really going to like I'm ready for war. Like I'm not coming in here to dance around and hold. I'm coming in here to fucking fight. Because Wilder's not a boxer at all. And he shows you he had no answers for nothing. He got to the point he was throwing hammer fist. Remember, that's why Parker had that big ass lump on the back of his neck because Wilder was literally hitting the motherfucker in the back of the head at one point. He was frustrated. He didn't know what to do. And this is the point of what I'm saying. It's not a mirror image of them because stylistically they're different, but the flaws, the mistakes, I'm saying, man, like I don't see a clear winner between the two of them. And I honestly think Ngannou might just knock Wilder the fuck out. I strongly feel this shit. Like I just like when I watch Wilder fight, man, it's too much going on with Wilder on the downside that his skills are not going to change, and I know that. But the thing is, Ngannou can actually get better. Ngannou, at least, like, you've never heard anybody say it's hard to work with Ngannou. He doesn't take it, information well. He's hard-headed. He wants to just do his own thing. And you understand what I mean? So what Wilder would need to beat him, he doesn't have that shit. It's just a if I can land first situation. And that's what I'm saying. So stylistically, the two of them, I don't see no clear fucking winner, man. And like, for Wilder to, like, let me say, I don't give a fuck how he hates AJ and how whatever these guys feel about each other. I don't have to agree with all that. I'm not concerned with all that. What I'm saying about this motherfucker, he's a boxer. And I really don't want to see no fucking MMA guy, nobody else get their arrogant asses in there, jumping there, talking shit, and they're beating boxers. And to be honest with you, I don't know why the fight never happened between him and Ngannou. I don't know why it didn't go down. I'm not concerned about it. I wasn't even concerned about him. I didn't, like, you notice when that happened, like, I'm not, yeah, AJ did it. I'm never like that with anybody. But it was like, okay, finally, somebody got this motherfucker up out of here. Like, I don't even want to see Ngannou in the boxing ring anymore. But if he decides that he does want to fight, I still would keep Wilder away from this motherfucker. Because, I think with his size and the way he fights, and with Wilder, like I said, not knowing what weight is good for him, because they claim 113, he was unbeatable. That's his best weight. Now all of a sudden it was too damn small. 238 was too damn big. Like I said, so it's too much, and then the way Wilder fights, man. I don't know, man. Ngannou might knock him the fuck out. Like, honestly, Ngannou might knock Wilder out, man. And Wilder doesn't, he just lacks too much. And bottom line is like this, man. Both of these guys, like, they're both green. They both lack. Put it like that. Wilder is just, he's been fighting all this time, man. You think like it will be improvements, and it's not, because he just don't feel the need. And that night against, like, for you to come into the ring all of a sudden one night and now you're doing things we never saw you do. I don't believe in magic, man. So I would keep Wilder away from Ngannou. I know, in all honesty, just too much shit can go wrong. You got to look at the position that he's in. He loses to Ngannou. He can't. If Wilder lose to anybody else, it's a wrap. Period. But if he lose to Ngannou, it's definitely a wrap. And especially after what the fuck AJ just did. So his intention shouldn't be to go in there and try to outdo what AJ did. His intention should be, I need to get back on track. I need to keep my focus on what I'm doing. And I'm saying that because his fan base is saying this shit, him and Ngannou. Why? Why are y'all picking losers for him to fight? That goes to show you that his fans don't have faith in him. And Wilder fans, you always talk about, oh man, this guy that's coming off of a loss and all. Okay, the only thing he would have in common with Ngannou is that they're both coming off of a loss. But why would y'all encourage him? Why y'all want to see him fight a loser? Like I said, confidence builders don't come from you fighting lower tier fighters. Those are stay busy fights. Those are the fights you have to work on new things. You see? And aside from staying busy, what is Wilder working on new? I don't think it's a fight that's going to happen anyway, but I don't see, I can't pick a clear winner, man. In all honesty, I can honestly see Ngannou knocking Wilder out. Wilder, as far as Wilder knocking him out, man, he got to land that shot. And I don't think, listen, I said a long time ago, man, I'm not sold that Wilder hits harder than Anthony Joshua. I was never sold on it. Anthony Joshua is always knew how to put punches together, and he basically is a smart fighter. Whereas with Wilder is just more reckless. And the way he put Hellenius out, I mean, it was just as devastating. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, and we talking about, think about this. He knocked Hellenius out in the 8th round, right? So we talking late in the fight. His power carried to, one shot, bam, Hellenius was out. Wilder did it in the 1st round. Great. Well, I'm saying when you look and you see that, I'm like, nah, I don't think he hit. So I never thought he hit harder than AJ. I don't now. I'm telling you, people can tell you someone hits harder. You ask who hits harder, Foreman or Shavers, and most people say Shavers, right? They never fought each other. If they did fight each other, I put my money on Foreman. But bottom line is, we got two guys that's solid punchers, right? They technically did different and everything. But when you say that a person hits harder than this person, or he hits you harder than that person ever hit you, or this person hit me harder than anybody ever hit me, okay, fine. But understand what I'm talking about, though. When you say a guy is the hardest puncher in heavyweight history, right? And don't get me wrong, we know that he has power in the right hand. But when you say that and you make that claim, and you fail to realize that when guys have good, solid resumes, there's going to be people that you don't knock out because they can fight. Does it mean Foreman don't punch hard because he didn't knock Ali out? Okay, Shavers didn't knock him out either. Shavers knocked him down. I mean, Shavers buzzed him. You know what I mean? I mean, he buzzed him, but I mean, he didn't knock him out. And Ali wasn't even the same Ali at that point. But bottom line, neither one of them knocked him out. So, people get caught up into that. I'm a knockout artist. Remember they was calling Keith Thurman. Keith one-time Thurman. Remember, he was all knockouts. No decisions, all knockouts. Okay, so what happens when you're not getting these knockouts, right? What does that mean? You don't punch hard anymore? When you start trying to live up to this whole I'm a knockout artist, all I'll do is bring excitement, it's knockouts. Nobody don't want to see no long fight. Everybody want to see knockouts. See, Wilder's lack of ability and his mentality is the point what I'm saying. The way AJ was fighting himself in there, like not knowing what he was supposed to be doing. I want to box, but even though he's a boxer puncher, he was trying to be, he was actually, what he was trying to be was taken away from what he actually is. And he was making the fights harder for himself. Wilder makes the fights harder for himself because his ego tells him he don't need to learn how to box. Why would I think that he's going to do anything different when he never does anything different? And this is my point. So it's like, with him and Ngannou, it's just more like who lands first. Because, and honestly, I think that Ngannou might take his shot better than he takes his. Wilder is just, like I said, man, he's just too limited. And the fact is this, man. the fact that Wilder turned pro years before AJ did. So did Fury. And when you look at his resume and say, okay, the very top names, okay, I'm going to give you them. The very top names on Wilder's resume is Fury, Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz, Chris Arreola, and Bermane Stiverne. That's the top guys on his resume. He lost to Fury. He lost to Parker. The biggest wins on his resume is against Chris Arreola, Bermane Stiverne, and Luis Ortiz. So think about it. Now you look at AJ's resume. Just like Muhammad Ali, just like Joe Frazier, just like Joe Louis, just like Ray Leonard, okay, just like Marvin Hagler, just like all of the top greatest fighters have losses on their records as well. Everybody, like I said, everybody's not going to retire undefeated. But my point is, look at their resume. So win, lose, or draw, you're used to going in there being battle tested with the top guys, where another guy isn't used to that shit. So when you go in there with someone else that's limited, and that's your confidence, like people thinking they're going to beat Tank Davis just because they're naturally bigger than him, and then they go in there and get cracked in the chin and realize, okay, this little motherfucker can punch. All right, and he can fight, and he can move, and he's quick, and he's not easy, So it's what I'm telling you. There's no element of surprise. Like, who said that? Teddy Atlas said it. There was an element, like the unknown. Like, people didn't know what to expect from Ngannou. So when he fought Fury, first off, I'm like, I hear what you're saying, Teddy, but this motherfucker never had a professional boxing match. So everything we said about Ngannou came from what we saw him do in MMA. What the hell did you think he was going to bring to the table in a boxing match? You know what I mean? So to say AJ knew exactly what he had to do. AJ fights nothing like Fury. You understand what I mean? So there was no blueprint laid. The dude went in there and he slouched. And he got dropped and embarrassed himself. So even for AJ to know what he's supposed to do, if he didn't believe in himself, as I said, if this would have been the AJ that's doubting himself, what happened, I still think AJ beats Ngannou regardless, but what he did, last Friday, whatever, I don't think he would have did it the same exact way. And he might have beat him off a points win. Might have wound up catching him later and knocking him out. Who knows? But bottom line is, this AJ is a different AJ. You understand what I'm saying? His confidence is back, but he's super smart with what he's doing. So when you watch him, and you can't see the difference. You don't see that what he did, people thought he couldn't do. So he went way beyond expectations. So when you say, oh, but Ngannou, he went past everybody's expectations against Fury, nothing really happened in that fight. Other than the knockdown, if you look, nothing really happened. He cut Fury, he hurt him, he bruised his eye, but like nothing really happened. It wasn't a whole lot going on in that fight. So what I'm saying is, I don't care how much talent you have. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have the heart, shit can still go wrong. Yeah, and I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna announce about Wilder as an opponent, when it's gonna happen, and we have to see how he looks in that fight. And if Ngannou, because Ngannou got PFL duties as well, so I'm honestly not looking forward to Ngannou versus Wilder, because to me it's a step down, but it's a risky step, because if he lose to Ngannou, I mean, it's a wrap if he lose anyway. But he lose to Ngannou, it's like, man, it's not about excuses. His fanboy's gonna say Wilder is just done, man. He's not the same anymore. That's what they're gonna say. But if you listen to what people are saying about Ngannou right now, and now realizing, no, he doesn't belong in the boxing ring with the top guys. So you imagine, after even saying that and watching what the the demolition job that AJ just did on him. Can you imagine? I mean, can you really imagine what the fuck would happen if he goes in there and knocks out Wilder, man? And this is what I'm saying. You know, Wilder talk a lot of crazy, goofy shit and be lying and making up stuff, man. But it's like, I don't want to see these guys. I mean, my thing is where the best man win. I ain't like I'm going to be mad. Like, if Ngannou would have beat AJ, I wouldn't have been mad. I just would have felt like that's fucked up for boxing. And like when it happened with Fury, didn't I say the same thing? This is some bullshit right here, man. Fucking, I wanted Fury to fucking win. And you know I don't give a fuck. Look, this is boxing, bro. I don't want to see no fucking MMA guys come in here and beat these boxers, man. You understand what I'm saying? I wanted Fury to win this shit. And he went in there like a fucking clown and went in there and got embarrassed. So, yeah. AJ cleaned up the mess that he left behind. And as far as Wilder or anybody else, like, you know, I don't like the fact that Ngannou skipped the line like that. He was, like I say, he just took advantage of opportunities he was given. But, you know, he skipped the line and jumped in front of people, man. You know what I mean? And so, you know why I would rather see him fight a guy like Frank Sanchez if he's going to fight? Because, for one, at his age, to start from the very bottom and work up, it would take way too much time. And, you know, like I said, he's doing MMA as well. If he fought Frank Sanchez, I believe strongly Frank Sanchez will fuck him up and knock him out as well. He'd punish him. Okay? Frank Sanchez doesn't have a big buzz right now. You know, but skill-wise, I know he would fuck up Francis Ngannou. He's very skillful. Francis Ngannou, I just, you know, for me personally, I just don't want to see him in the boxing ring. Well, now I ain't gonna say personally. I mean, because it's not. It doesn't affect me. I'm saying, like, I'm not really checking for him as a like right now. I mean, aside from giving boxing news, but it's like I'm not like looking forward to see him fight. To be honest with you, I'm just not. I want to see boxers fight boxers, MMA guys fight MMA guys, Muay Thai guys fight Muay Thai guys, okay? That's one of the things I love about one championship fighting, because they have it where you have fighters that do both. They do multiple disciplines. So they have a fight where one round is all Muay Thai, the other round will be like, you know, kickboxing rules, then the final round will be like straight MMA. So everything. And so that's cool because you got fighters in there that's all doing the same things. You know, that's all. And like I said, man, you know, so when I heard what Sheik said, I said, this is what I'm talking about. And that's my point. I don't want to see these MMA guys beat these fighters. You know what I mean? And Sheik doesn't either. So that being said, you know, if boxers had that type of camaraderie and that type of loyalty, man, we would see things happen different. But, you know, and like I said, it's cool to see Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn working together, man. It's like all this stupid nonsense, all this beefing back and forth, man. You guys in here all trying to make the same things happen, man. Everybody can win together, you know. And win, lose, or draw, these fighters are getting their money, and the fans are getting their money's worth. And you know, hey, you come back and fight another day. And that's why I'm saying, man, people got to think. Like, people don't think, they don't understand business. They don't think about somebody's career in the sense of like what's the next move. You know, anybody with common sense should understand what I'm saying, man. Fury said, Ngannou's not worth the rematch, right? Now, before AJ knocked him out like that, if you look at what happened between him and Ngannou when they was in the rings, like, how could you say that when you struggled like a motherfucker, right? AJ doing what he's doing made Fury have a face like, what the fuck? Oh shit, okay. And I'm talking all this shit about AJ. He goes in there and outperform me, like, right? So, same thing. Like when Ngannou made that comment about, you're nothing in front of me, you're lucky that you got the rules of boxing to protect you. It's like, yeah, but that's a bitch move, Ngannou, because you chose to box and you claim, you out of your mouth said boxing was your first love. And now you get the opportunity to do something you always wanted to do. So don't come resorting to this, oh, if we was in an octagon shit, or if it wasn't boxing rules. You chose this shit, man. Don't come with that shit. That'd be no different if you decided you wanted to go and wrestle against an Olympic style wrestler who has, way more experience than you, and then all of a sudden he goes there and slam your ass around and pin your shoulders to the mat and everything, and you sit there and say, you lucky I can't throw elbows and knees. Like, you can say that about any discipline. Like, that's some bitch shit right there. I didn't respect that. And I guess people thought because you said the Fury, they probably maybe if you don't know me, then you see the video, I guess you thought I was gonna be, oh, he told Fury. Yeah, no, it's like, no. People get sick of Fury shit, so it's like, yeah, I get it. I know he made Fury look stupid when he made the comment because Fury didn't have a good comeback for it, right? But then this shit about Fury saw him in the hallway and told him, you called me a coward and all this, like, whatever. All this, fake, I was getting ready to fight shit, whatever, man. Keep it professional. Make your money. Don't get your stupid asses thrown in jail over some nonsense, right? You're not making no money. Why are you letting your hands slide? You ain't gonna do shit anyway. But the bottom line with all of that is, this guy Sheik seems to care more about boxing than these other people do. And so, just think about it this way. Without the Saudis doing what they're doing, we don't know what boxing will look like. It will look like what it's been looking like. Just a bunch of back and forth arguing on social media, but nobody wants to get in the ring. And then you got Ryan Garcia sitting up here talking about people trying to kill him, and if I get in the ring, and I think what he meant by that is he's trying to say he's mentally not stable, but they're trying to push the fight to happen anyway, or some shit. I don't know, man. Like this is the type of circus shit I'm talking about. All this goofy shit, and then you got people saying, I think he's just doing it to get attention because he want Devin Haney to sleep on him, and all. Like, man, cut this shit out. And you know why they're entertaining it? Because I told you, they have accepted this bullshit. It's just not entertaining. It's just not. So, I respect, what Turkey said, man. Like the mindset he's coming from with that, because this is big business, man. And I told you I'm not into this circus shit anyway, man. And now this shit is finally over. And I heard people say that shit too in other videos, that, man, finally boxing can move on. I've been saying this shit for the longest. Like, yes, they can move on now. And that's what I've been saying. This heavyweight division has been held up with Fury holding on to that title, and it then took him and fucking Usyk forever to finally get shit settled in where they could fight. So we know what's happening the weekend. But at the end of the day, y'all, we only got these fights because of the Saudis, man. We only got these fights because of the Saudis. And for all of this shit to leading, if all of this leads to AJ versus Fury, fine. If it ends up leading to AJ versus Usyk 3, fine. However, I want to see the top fighters go at it, man. That's that. Now I don't mind seeing Francis Ngannou in the cage fighting. And let me tell you something. If, let's say, for example, the next time he gets in the cage and fight in the PFL, if he should lose and then he decide that he's frustrated and he says, okay, you know what, I want to go back into boxing, it's going to be over for him. Because to be honest with you, for him to pick up, to try to, where he left off and try to continue, and he's too old, man. He's too old. And it's just too much. He's too old. He doesn't have enough time to grow the way he needs to. And right now, his biggest thing is his strength and his power, his size overall. So this is what I'm saying, y'all. For Wilder fans, y'all gotta understand something, man. I don't give a fuck how y'all feel anyway. Ain't no fucking fans of any fighter, but y'all gotta understand something. Just because you think a fighter can beat somebody, or you want that fighter to win, you think that certain fights, you don't understand it. From a business standpoint, both of their stocks went down considerably. Both of them. It's the Wilder fans. Y'all might not see it because y'all communicate with each other. So you can go through a list of comments and y'all talking, you think the whole world feels the same way y'all do. But no, both of their stocks has dropped considerably. Okay? For the people that was smart enough to know, AJ is going to be far more dangerous than Fury. Why do you think they can come to that conclusion if Fury's the better fighter? Why? And after all the shit they talk about AJ, because they know deep down that, AJ's better, man, than what we give him credit for. And after that Wallin performance, it's like, damn, okay, he's back. And, he did what he did. So, you seen what AJ did. And that's why the majority of y'all are talking this shit about Wilder versus Ngannou. Because in y'all mind, y'all just keep comparing the two of them to where you think now he got to go and fight him. Fury fought him, AJ fought him, so now Wilder got to fight him. And it's like I told you, if it would have been a thing where AJ struggled with him and he won still, or if he, especially if he lost, but if he struggled and won, yeah, he would still be like Danny, like, yo, you got to remember, it's only 2 fights, but he fought 2 of the top guys, and look what he did. Then they would be saying, shit, 3 times a charm, why not Wilder? But then that would make Wilder look like, well, damn, but why are you doing it when you lost to Parker? You should be wanting to get your win back against Parker, right? And if they paid Ngannou $20 million for that fight, and the fight before that, that means that's $40 million. You think they wouldn't have paid him $60 million after he got knocked the fuck out? The same way AJ, short night, $50 million. Boom. Okay, short night for Ngannou too, $20 million. Who are they going to put that kind of money up for him to fight? Another guy that just came off another loss? So y'all got to think, man. Think. Wilder don't need to turn his attention to no damn Ngannou. He needs to figure out what he's going to do, though. Who his opponent's going to be. And get back on track if he can. If he can. And to be honest with you, all this I need my killer instinct back shit, well, if he is actually going to fight a tune-up, Ngannou's the wrong guy for him to fight. If he was willing to take a tune-up with some low-tier, Ngannou's the wrong fight. Because I just don't see Wilder, in all honesty. He's not as sharp. He's not AJ, man. He doesn't have those fundamentals. That's what y'all gotta understand. It's not like AJ just landed the right hand, like he closed his eyes and tucked his chin. No, he set him up beautifully. He was landing that shit repeatedly, man. Let's not forget, he dropped him twice with the same punch and knocked him out with the same punch. He set him up and seen how he can get. Wilder does not have that type of IQ, man. Wilder just times you, waits back, and wait for you to move, and then he launch. Or he jumps in, leaps in with the jab behind it, and then come with the right hand. But it's telegraphable, man, and this is what I'm saying. It's the wrong fight. He doesn't need that fight. He needs to focus on what he has to do to get back. And the whole thing is when he gets back, it's just like, what are you getting back? It's just still going to be the same Wilder. So obviously he's going through a confidence thing and a lack of killer instinct. AJ had to regroup. So Wilder has to regroup. But what I'm telling you is, I don't think he needs to be in there with Ngannou. I truly think Ngannou will knock Wilder out, man. I truly believe that shit. I truly believe that shit, man. I really do. And I feel like, you don't hear Ngannou saying, I lost my killer instinct. I'm not sure about myself. I lost my killer instinct. I'm a happy fighter. He said he's lonely. He trains so much. He wants to be the best at what he's doing. All that. So he'd have a chip on his shoulder to the point of, hey, I need to win. This is ride or die. And I believe he would unleash on Wilder and see if Wilder tried to trade with him. My whole thing with that is, especially being long and lanky like that, Wilder is not, he doesn't have the frame for that. I don't know if y'all understand me. He's not built for that, man. Wilder doesn't brawl with anybody. Wilder doesn't let his hands go to after he hurts you. You know what I'm saying? And like laying back with Ngannou and waiting. If you're not giving Ngannou nothing to worry about, and especially when he can negate that right hand. Like, you see how when Ngannou has his hands out here, what he does, right, is when you punch, he counters with that little slap hook. Slap hook comes with the right hand. And Wilder just leans straight back. So, like I said, it's possible Wilder can land a shot and knock him out too, but like it's a fight that's just too risky for Wilder right now, man. You gotta look at the position that Wilder's in. Like I said, of all people, you lose to somebody that just basically got knocked out in 2 rounds, and by the guy that you should have been fighting. Just think about it, y'all. If Wilder would have beat Parker, it would have been Wilder and Parker and AJ last week. And, watching him, and I watched the fight again with him and Parker, and I just watched, and I'm like, yeah, Wilder's not in a good position right now, y'all. He got shut down. He had no answers for nothing. Parker beat him with the most basic shit. It was just basic. Like, and Wilder just couldn't figure out nothing. He can't figure out the simplest things. And like I said, you guys love to get annoyed and get in your feelings when I say these things, which I don't give a shit. Y'all should know this by now. But I'm telling you the truth, man. The guy, he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. He can't box for shit, man. He's not a smart guy. He doesn't know. I could stand up here and make a video, a demonstration, show you shots and movements and where to throw a shot, how to turn it. Like, this the simple shit that you learn when you first come in the gym that Wilder doesn't know how to do. And those things can be exploited very, very easily. The only thing that Wilder would have in common with fighting a guy like Ngannou is because Ngannou is just not a good boxer. And so Wilder might just be able to land a shot. He might. But I just don't feel confident that that's the way it's going to go. I just don't. I felt, like I said, you never know what a guy's going to fight like when he show up on fight night. But I felt like Anthony Joshua was going to beat him. I felt like AJ should fuck him up easy and bad. That he really should have. Fury should have fucked him up. But, Fury's ego and thinking he don't have to train properly and take people lightly, well, it came back and haunted his ass. But Fury should have been able to do better than what he did. Way better than what he did. And I just really don't feel like Wilder will go in there and it's just automatic. He's knocking Ngannou. I just don't see it like that. I just don't. That's why I love the way AJ knocked him out. Because as soon as the ref, he came in and he put his left, like he was just put it out and just right behind it. Just measured him. Bam! And like I told you, Ngannou's too green. Wilder wouldn't have done that. Wilder doesn't, that's what I'm saying. Wilder wouldn't have done that shit, man. He wouldn't have. And when you see that Wilder can't fight Wilder's not even good fighting forward. He has the power in the right hand and it worked for him against most of his opponents. But if you look at Wilder, and he can't fight going backwards. You know he can't. So, is it possible Ngannou can get overzealous and run into something? Yeah. But Ngannou, really, he has patience too, and he tries to set traps and baits you to try to throw his shots. Like, he loved that slap hook, right hand. When he throws, when he comes in with the short chopping right hand, he comes with the short left hook. I see the variations he tried to do. Like, I seen one shot where AJ caught him with that right hand, and immediately it was a clinch after that. And it's one of these things where in that round, like just watching it when it happened, it was like, yeah, AJ knows that's the money shot. He see he can land that shit at will. And look, man, skills pay the bills. So you remember how you had George Foreman and Ryan Lyles? But again, two boxers. But bottom line, it's like, yeah, how these guys, it wasn't about technique and playing chess. They just wanted to knock each other out. And that's exactly the type of fight that these two would bring to each other. Only one of them, and Ngannou, trying to be patient to try to land the right shots. And try to back you up. Whereas Wilder would be more like trying to land a jab right hand. You understand what I mean? If you seen a fight with Wilder and he's throwing hooks to the body, he's throwing uppercuts to the body, he's going up top, he's mixing his shots up, he's giving you different looks, that would be one thing. If he was doing that, the conversation that we have, aside from all the lying and goofy shit, we wouldn't be talking this kind of stuff. And this is what I'm saying, things that Wilder just doesn't do. That he just does not do. Like we said, like Regis Prograis was talking all this shit about, like when Devin told him, you can't box. Who you ever outbox? When you ever shown any boxing skill? He said, no, I'm going to outbox you. And I told you, that's cap, man. That's bravado. That's bullshit. He ain't outboxing no damn Devin Haney. And Devin Haney exposed him to he showed him just how limited he was. When I was saying it, people think I'm just hating on Regis Prograis. And no, I said, look, Regis Prograis, I like his heart and determination. And when I see him fight and he goes in there, he's had certain fights with the right people where he went in there, fought guys he was better than and did what he did. But I'm not impressed by Regis his skills are superior. He doesn't. No, I'm not. Now, just think about it. Just think about it. Joseph Parker won 2 straight fights in a row. I believe he'll be back on the 3rd Saudi card unless it's a situation where he feel like his body needs a rest or something like that. But Joseph Parker should be definitely in a position of, okay, whatever happens between AJ and Urkovic, and then with Fury and Usyk, you got to understand something. See, this is a problem, and I don't think nobody's really paying attention to this shit. If Usyk won, right, and then say AJ fights Usyk and he beats Usyk, it's gonna be 2 fights. Okay, it's gonna be 2 fights. If Parker is still winning, you'd get AJ versus Parker too. But let's say, for example, if Urkovic was to beat AJ, and then say Tyson Fury beats Usyk and then he beats Urkovic, him and Parker not going to fight each other. So what does it do for the heavyweight division? You see, you're in a position of what? Well, we're partners. We're not going to fight. Okay, so what happens now? So for Anthony Joshua, he's in a position of, well, hey, man, listen, I want to fight all these guys. I ain't got no friends in the heavyweight division, so, I'm not friends with none of these guys. Let's fight. So Parker is in a position of, if you're not willing to fight Fury, right, and you're in a position to fight him, well, somebody is going to bump you and take your space, because, see, Turkey don't care about all that shit. He just wants these fights. If Wilder can get back on track, we've already seen Wilder and Fury 3 times, man. We've never seen Wilder and AJ. We've never seen Wilder and Usyk. We've seen Wilder and Parker. If Wilder ends up in a position where he fights Parker again, now, he definitely has to win. But see, this would be another fight of, I'm trying to step forward, but I might wind up taking a step back against this guy. And then the thing, Wilder can't afford a loss. And this is the whole point. He just can't. So for Parker's situation is, how far do you really want to go? How far do you really want to go? And then 2, we don't know if Fury's going to actually retire or not. He already said he don't want to fight AJ. He's just talking shit. So, without looking too far ahead, the point what I'm saying is, all of this shit that's going on, I don't know if Wilder's observing it or is he just focusing on himself. But I'm pretty sure he knows the outcome of the fight and they watched the fight. But I ain't talking about that. I'm saying with him looking at his position and where he is and looking at all this other shit going on and understanding what Turkey wants to do and what his expectations are for you to get on his cards. And if Wilder listened to 7-8 Sports, he listened to his fans and this bullshit that they're talking about, he's going to sink himself. If he understands what he needs to do. First off, regardless to who you fight, you have to win. But if he understands what he needs to do, my point, what I said, I believe he's going to fight Manuel Charr trying to make that happen. Because at least if he's walking around with a belt, if somebody even said, what belt Wilder got? I thought Usyk had all the belts in Fury. Yeah, he anything to get them talking about Wilder again. Okay? On the winning side of things. And for him to, and the thing with Wilder, y'all got to understand is, Wilder has been cushioned all these years. Wilder needs these step-up fights. But he's in a risky position because, you can't afford more losses. So it's not going to be easy. And I believe that people are talking about Ngannou because it's like, well, damn, you can't get more green than that, right? But, I just don't think Wilder is that guy, man. And I just feel like out of all these heavyweights that got a name, Wilder will be the one Ngannou might wind up knocking the fuck out. Just think about it. I mean, Anyway, y'all, I respect what Turkey said, and I wish boxing in general would just grow and get to the point where people would stop doing things the way they do. I mean, anytime you have a big business and money's involved, is the sad part is the shadiest people are going to find their way into the sport, find a way to help corrupt it and pollute it up. But I was going to go live and I didn't. I didn't expect to really go this long. But hey, listen, throw it on and clean your house or do something, man, or whatever. I just feel like right now, man, what we've been seeing, I mean, I've been enjoying the cards and stuff like that, but what we've been seeing is just a prime example of what you can do when you actually just care about what you're doing, and it's not all just money. And you know that the Arabs are all about money, okay? Saudi Arabia, what they're doing is all about money. But they're showing you, look, man, we want to give people their money's worth. We want to give them something that they can afford. You know, people work hard. Everybody's not rich. Everybody can't afford these. I mean, you got these pay-per-views with shitty cards and a halfway decent main event for fucking $90 and all of this goofy stuff. You know, and pretty much. So my thing is, without the Saudis doing it, we're not going to get this shit anywhere else. And to be honest with you, the closest thing you're going to get to people trying to put the best card they can, in all honesty, is like Matchroom. And the only thing about that is, like, people play this pick and choose sides. Like, you know, I don't fuck with Matchroom. I'm PBC or whatever and all this other nonsense. But you know what? It is what it is. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Tell me what y'all think about, for one, what Turki said to AJ. And the commentator said he told AJ that. So, yeah. But what y'all think about that and his vision for boxing? And what do y'all really like when you're looking at Wilder? Because a lot of people think Wilder's finished. Really, to be honest with you, you know, he's not in a good position. People don't really understand this. He's not, age-wise, skill-wise, and what's at stake. He's not in a good position right now. What do y'all think Wilder's chances are? What does he do? And do you think that he does a desperate thing and take the advice of his fans and try to go after Ngannou? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.